The Marvels, but by Sony instead of Disney. Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Studios here, and welcome back to another movie review. And today, I'm going to be doing a review on Madam Web. So, Madam Web is the fourth film in the Sony Spider-Man universe, or the SSU, basically the universe with these Spider-Man villains, and is directed by S.J. Clarkson, and it stars Dakota Johnson, Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Merced, Celeste O'Connor, Tahar Rahim, Mike Epps, Emma Roberts, Adam Scott as Tessera. And so basically, Madam Web tells the story of this paramedic named Cassandra Webb, who apparently gets entangled with visions of the future when she gets into an accident. During in the middle of a rescue mission, she falls to her quote unquote death. Falls like in the river, but is thankfully saved by Ben Parker, who I'm sure you all know is Peter Parker's uncle. Madam Web develops the abilities to see the future, and she actually doesn't know it at first, but then she then starts to learn about her abilities and learn about it, and find out what this means, like what her visions mean, and to discover the fact that it's not only a deja vu, just like what she thought at first. One day, and then there's the guy named Ezekiel Sims, who apparently is responsible for killing Cassandra's mother. Or actually, she's called Cassie in the film, so I'll refer to her as Cassie in the review. And Ezekiel Sims apparently also has the ability to see the future, and his future is three spider girls. Julia Cornwall. Apparently, it was supposed to be called Julia Carpenter, but I don't know what happened. Anya Corazon and Manny Franklin, three Spider Girls who killed Ezekiel, and so Ezekiel must hunt down the girls, in order to survive. But then Madam Web stops them, and so they both clash. They both clash on each other. And the fight happens, and Madam Web must protect the girls from getting killed. Now when it comes to Madam Web, I will admit, before the trailer came out, I was actually hyped for this movie. I was like, this is so gonna be the best Sony Spider-Man universe movie ever. I mean, the set photos did look interesting, despite it clearly being behind the scenes. But I really love seeing them. I also love seeing Isabella Merced, because I honestly think that Isabella Merced is one of the most underrated actresses of all time. Sure, her movies aren't that good, but you should admit that she's usually the best part of these films most of the time. I mean, she was the only redeeming quality, or at least one of the only redeeming qualities of Transformers: The Last Knight. She of course, Instant Family is definitely her best. Love Instant Family. I think that movie is an underrated classic. Dora and City Gold, which was rather mediocre, more mediocre than bad. Isabella Merced was awesome as Dora. Sicario de Soldado, which I think is pretty unnecessary, but I love seeing Isabella Merced in it. And she's actually my most anticipated character in Superman Legacy. Not gonna lie, her as Hawkgirl. So she's one reason why I was excited for this one, and also Sydney Sweeney as well. I actually recently saw a Sydney Sweeney movie in cinemas last month called Anyone But You. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that one too. One of the best rom-coms in recent years, despite being nothing amazing and nothing special. It's pretty much my kind of rom. It ended up being a great rom-com, and one of the biggest surprises of 2023. Arguably, the biggest surprise of 2023 is either that or Saw X. Dakota Johnson, I'm sure you already know her as Anastasia Steele in the 50 Shades, but I trusted that she'd pretty much give a much better performance. Yeah, and also yeah, when it comes to Sony's track record, yeah, not very good. I mean, I think that there's a good reason why people hate on this universe, the Sony Spider-Man universe. Spider-Man universe. It's because of how disconnected it is. Like it's basically just a bunch of Spider-Man spin-off, and they're better off on their own instead of trying to have a universe and connect. I mean, not like belong to this universe, but like don't make a Sony Spider-Man villain universe. Just let them be their own thing. Don't connect them, because the more you connect them, the worse it gets. The worse it gets. And I know people complain about the fact that there's no Spider-Man in it. Who cares, man? I don't care. I mean, I don't. It doesn't really bother me a lot that there's no Spider-Man in it. As long as I enjoy a movie. Now, there is actually only one Sony Spider-Man universe movie that I actually enjoy, and that is Venom: Let There Be Carnage. Yeah, that's actually the only one that I legit enjoy. I thought that was a straight up good movie, and not really straight up, but rather more of a guilty pleasure. Yeah, I don't like Venom 1 is mediocre, and don't get me and Morbius is probably the worst superhero movie. No, the worst Marvel movie of all time. I don't know if I go as far as calling it the best. No, the worst superhero movie, but it is a high contender. Yeah, screw Morbius. Yeah, going to I will admit I wanted Madame Web to be the best in the universe, but the trailer didn't really yeah, the trailer I mean it was not as good as I was expecting, and it left my top 20 most anticipated movies of the year list. Yeah, I decided to remove it because it wasn't really worth it. Worth being on the list. But yeah, that trailer is probably one of the most hated trailers of all time. I don't hate the trailer personally, but yeah, it's okay. I guess it was just a fine trailer for where it is. Yeah, with all the horrendous reviews that came out, some people even going as far as calling it even worse than Morbius. I did go in with pretty low expectations, because I was thinking that if I went in with high expectations, I would have been tricked and would have been disappointed with it. I mean, I don't want this to be I don't want this to be another Expend4Balls, but which is what a coincidence. Like I compared this to Expend4Balls because I actually saw this movie in the exact same theater as Expend4Balls. Yeah, as Expend4Balls, but yeah, after seeing Madame Web for myself today, I gotta say about it. It was actually fine. It was alright, I guess. Yeah, I will admit, it's actually not as bad as everyone else says it is. Yeah, it's nowhere near the worst superhero movie of all time, and it's certainly better than Morbius. In fact, I'd say this is actually one of the better films in the Sony Spider-Man universe. Is it the best Sony Spider-Man universe like what I predicted? Honestly, no. Venom: Let There Be Carnage is still the best best in the Sony Spider-Man universe. Yeah, Venom: Let There Be Carnage still tops. It's still the best one. But I would actually put Madame Web at number 2 when it comes to my Sony Spider-Man universe. Yeah, I think it just shows that this is kind of a weak franchise. The Sony Spider-Man universe is honestly pretty weak. The best way to describe this movie is that this is basically the Flash of 2024. Not by the fact that I dislike it, not by the fact that no, I had low expectations for it, or I had low expectations. Not. I mean, both were different when it came to expectations. Well, sorta. But yeah, but how I felt about this film is kind of the same as how I feel about the Flash now. Which yeah, I did decline my thoughts on the Flash. Now I think the Flash is just an okay, painfully average movie, and that's what I would say about Madame Web. Painfully average, yet I honestly have pretty strong feelings about this one. Usually when it comes to movies in this kind of caliber, like the more average or mediocre films, I usually have less things to say about it. But less things I usually have less things to say about it. But with Madame Web, I actually have stronger feelings for it because the good things about it, the good things about it are all extreme positive. Like I was like, damn, that's actually damn great. I'm very impressed. But then the lows, but then the negatives are basically like, oh god, yeah, that's basically how I sum up this the pros and cons. Yeah, starting over the pros. The characters are actually great. Yeah, I mean this movie actually delivers good characters. I mean, maybe except Manny Franklin. I will admit, I honestly, yeah, I'm already mentioning a flaw, but I'll save all my other flaws for later. I just want to say, Maddie is so freaking annoying. Like she will freaking shut up. Like she's annoying. She's like the one whining all the time. She's like bitching about everything all the time. She's like, she's kind of an asshole in this movie. Well, I mean, she does get buried later on, but I still I can't get over the fact that Maddie is an asshole. Yeah, such a dick character. Such an asshole. And yeah, but all the other characters are actually really good. I mean, really good. I mean, Dakota Johnson gives actually a good performance. Yeah, way better than her performance as oh god, Anastasia Steele in the 50 Shades movies. Ugh. But in this one, she actually did a really good job with the role of Madam Web. Yeah, I mean, you can clearly tell that there is charisma in her acting. Yeah, and yeah, this is probably my favorite Dakota Johnson. Actually, I originally called this my favorite Dakota Johnson performance, but then I looked back at some of her other roles, and then she was in apparently she was in a Social Network and Bad Times at the El Royale. I think Bad Times at the El Royale is her best performance to me. Social Network is her best movie, but I don't remember what she did in that film, so nowhere near one of the highlights of that film. Yeah, but yeah, I mean the villain Ezekiel Sims is actually a great villain. I mean, I will admit, I honestly don't get the hate for Ezekiel Sims. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, maybe his motivate. Yeah, maybe he needed a stronger motivation, but I don't get why people think that he's not threatening and menacing enough. He actually that did feel threatening. He actually because yeah, he actually did feel threatening, especially in that Spider-Man suit. I mean, that subway scene alone just shows you how suspenseful he is. Where he climbs on walls like being like in a very suspenseful way that makes you dread every time you can hear something on the wall, like something climbing on the wall. Yeah, you can clearly see you can clearly feel some dread there. Yeah, that yeah, and I love this and he has such a badass Spider-Man suit. Yeah, he has yeah, a badass suit. Yeah, love like how it looks exactly like Spider-Man but evil. Yeah, it's almost like evil Superman in a way. Yeah, and yeah, every time he shows up in Madame Web's vision, boy, doesn't look very creepy and terrifying. Terrifying. Yeah, but the standouts of the film, my favorite characters of the film, it is actually a tie between Sydney Sweeney's Julia and Isabella Merced's Anya. Yeah, love both of them. Yeah, I think Sydney Sweeney deserves some respect because she seems like she's very faithful to the character of Spider Woman. Yeah, fun fact, Sydney Sweeney was actually very strict about was strict to the filmmakers about her character. Like she wanted her character to be as faithful to the comics as possible. So she tried to replicate the upside down swinging shot that we see in the trailer in the comics. If you're a comic reader, you probably might have saw that. If you read if you read a bunch of Spider Woman comics, yeah. Sydney Sweeney really wanted to perfect that, and I think I mean, maybe besides the poor camera work in that shot, they actually did a good job of making of capturing like that and of capturing that. And Isabella Merced as Anya is another highlight. Yeah, you all know how much I defend Isabella Merced, and I think Anya, I love how smart Anya is, despite her being pretty hot, especially with the outfit she wears. She actually with outfits she wears. She actually how do I say this? I love how smart she is. Yeah, she actually is very smart. Yeah, yeah. She's very smart and very intelligent. And I love how I love the way she explains things. Yeah. Also, I love the inclusion of Ben and Mary Parker as well. They both work really good in this one, especially Ben, who has such a great chemistry with Madam Web. It's almost like I ship them, honestly. Yeah, they both work out really well together. And yeah, Adam Scott probably gives one of his better performances as that. And yeah, Emma Roberts as Mary Parker. Yeah, Mary Parker is one of the better aspects of the film. Honestly, she's one of my favorite. I think she's one of the better characters in the film. Yeah, she's one of the standouts. Yeah, yeah, probably the second standout, right behind Sydney and Isabella. Yeah, I love May, and Emma Roberts actually does give a straight up good performance, especially when she gets worried about the baby, which is apparently going to be Peter Parker. Yeah, that's one thing I got a compliment about this film is that it actually is that I love how they decided to make it set in a universe before Peter Parker was born, and so we get to see May Parker be pregnant and Peter there, and we do get a glimpse of how Peter Parker we get to see the events of before Peter Parker was born. Although the movie didn't really do a lot with how with the events leading up to Peter Parker being born and specific and showing it. But I understand that because it's not really like the point of the story. But having Ben and Mary Parker in this movie, Peter Parker's parents, is one reason why I was excited for it, because we actually get to see a Parker in this film. Yeah, even though it's not Peter Parker, at least it's a Parker, so I can give it that. Also, the movie's not boring. Yeah, I mean, it is slow paced, which I'll definitely talk about that in a bit. But it actually is not boring. Yeah, I did not get bored with this. There were some good action scenes in this one, like I would say the ambulance action scene was actually great, especially when we got these, especially when the three kids would use that CPR machine to hit Ezekiel Sims. Yeah, that was badass right there. And the four main characters actually show good chemistry with each other. Yeah, and I do like how this tries to be different. This goes for a more thriller route instead of being a straight up action movie. They went for a more unbreakable kind of route, which is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. But yeah, I honestly have no idea how I feel about the story. On one hand, it has such a great premise, such a clever premise. But on the other hand, but yeah, on the other hand, the dialogue is very cheesy, obnoxious, especially with yeah, and remember that line in the trailer that everyone mocked. He was in the Amazon with my mother when she was researching spiders right before she died. At least that quote was somewhat memorable. But in this one, they actually changed that Amazon line. Like, he was in the Amazon with my mommy line, and they made it worse because it's even more forgettable. Like, I doubt anyone will quote that line. Yeah, I highly doubt it. But that's all for the good stuff. Now let's get into the things that pissed me off about this movie. Yeah, there were some elements that did piss me off. Yeah, Muffler specifically. There's not really a lot that came into mind, but yeah. First of all, let's get the biggest problem with the movie out of the way. I mean, there is a lack of action and a lack of superhero stuff. Yeah, the film is more focused on plot and characters. I mean, I would have been fine with that. I mean, at least I did enjoy seeing the main characters together because of how good the chemistry was. But this is a Marvel movie, for crying out loud. This is a superhero movie. I mean, I get it. Yeah, not all movies need to be reliant on action. I mean, I would have been fine with this movie not being action driven if only it was better made, because there's no denying that this is certainly not a well made film by any means possible. By any means possible. Yeah, but seriously, there's like all the action scenes are honestly pretty lackluster. Yeah, the action scenes we do get, yeah, basically the subway kinda with, but it's just Ezekiel beating up guards. There's the the diner action scene that you saw in the trailer. That that you saw in the trailer. Which is also like very is also too quick, and then you got pretty much the final battle, which pretty much has three parts in it. Yeah, but in one, with the first one being the ambulance, which I like, and then we also got the firework bomb thingy, like the warehouse action scene, which was also pretty good. But then you get to that one, the one bad action scene in that film. Like, I mean, as a whole, I mean, the ambulance, the warehouse, and the roof deck counts as one final battle. But good God, the roof deck battle. I mean, that was like the only time when they actually fight. Like, they go fist to fist against each other. Yeah, but guess what? Guess what? That final battle is full of two words: shaky cam. Yeah, yeah, sure. The visuals didn't look impressive. Yeah, the movie is not very good looking. I mean, it does look like a CW show, but I will give it that. At the very least, it is watchable. But the final battle is just unwatchable. Honestly, one of the worst final battles I've ever seen. I mean, it could have been a good one, but it's just the camera is just so desperately shaking throughout the action scene. Like it was so hard to follow. I mean, I know like Venom 1 had a problem too, but Madam Web suffers this problem much worse in my opinion. Maybe on par, yeah, maybe just as much. And you know what's worse about that? They don't put on their suits. During the fight. Yeah, they fight Ezekiel Sims in their regular civilian outfit clothes. Really? Like really? Like Madam Web is just wearing her regular red jacket, and then the others are like basically wearing t-shirts in a fight. I mean, if it was an action thriller, I could have if it was an action thriller, I could have understood. But no, it is but no, it's not an action thriller. It is a superhero movie. Why would you want to watch characters fight without suits on? And you know how long they suited up? Yes, less than a minute, under 1 minute. We only get to see the suits. I mean, there were two scenes where we get to see the Spider-Girl suits. One being in the scene somewhere like in the first act where Ezekiel Sims had a vision of the Spider-Girls killing him, and then we killing him, and then we get to see like the Spider-Girls, which was like I was like, oh yes, we're gonna see more of them. But the other time we get to see the Spider-Girls in suits is the final scene, and I mean the scene when Madame Web makes her ending a monologue, like those ending monologues in movies. Yeah, there was one in this one. And I was like, really? That's it? That's it? Yeah, no, not much shoots. And even Madame Web herself, herself, yeah, she only wore her Madame Web suit in the very end of the film, like the final shot of the film. Yeah, man. I mean, I will say this though, I love the suits. I think the suits are amazing. Yeah, they do look incredible, and I really want to see more of them. Yeah, Sony, take my word, please make a Spider-Girl movie. Yeah, make a movie with with either Sydney Sweeney or Isabella Merced's character. I honestly don't want to see Maggie Franklin ever again because of how annoying and bitchy she was in the film. And yeah. What else is there? Yeah, like Ari pointed out, the terrible dialogue in this one. Dialogue in this one. Yeah, but I guess that's all. Yeah, I don't have. I feel like there's another. I feel like there's another flaw I forgot to mention, but I kind of can't really pinpoint it right now. But yeah, let's end this. So yeah, so overall, yeah, Madam Web is nowhere near as bad as everyone else says it is, but that doesn't make it a great film either. It's a movie that has its high highs and low lows. Yeah, I mean, it has great characters. It has really good. It has great characters except Maddie Franklin. The main characters had great chemistry together, and the fact that the movie did not bore me says something. But the movie could have been better if it had more superhero elements to it. We get to see the team putting on their superheroes outfits more than just a few seconds, and this movie needed more action. Yeah, this movie needed more fun. So yeah, With that said, I'm going to give Madam Web 3 stars out of 5. It's okay. It's a fine movie. So yeah, hopefully this will be the weakest of the three Sony Spider-Man Universe movies this year. Fingers crossed, Kraven the Hunter and Venom 3 will be good, especially Kraven. Yeah, now I mean Madam Web could have been my favorite SSU movie of the year, but I think. But I have a feeling Kraven the Hunter has potential to be the best of the three Sony Spider-Man Universe movies of the year. So yeah, what are your thoughts on Madame Web? If you have seen it, for those who've seen it, would you agree with me that this movie is not as bad as everyone else says it is? Do you straight up like it, enjoy this movie, or are you with the majority in hating this film? And if you haven't seen Madame Web, are you planning on checking this out? Do you I recommend giving this movie a chance and watching it with an open mind, and don't then go in wanting to hate it. So yeah, comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and yeah, stay tuned for my stay tuned for the continuation of my Frozen Awards 2024. And yes, I promise this time for real this time. Bye guys.